Welcome to today's lesson. Today is Friday, October 19th, and we're reviewing the Big 7 method. Please write this title at the top of your paper on the right-hand side and put the page number. So, we're going to be reviewing the Big 7 method, which we learned about in class. I'm going to extend my line down here a little bit to make it a 7. The first thing that we do is we take our divisor, which is 8, and write down the multiplication facts in our think space. We do 8 times 1, 8 times 2, which is 16, 8 times 5, which is 40, 8 times 100, which is 800, 8 times 10, which is 80, and I'm going a little bit out of order. It's okay. 8 times 20 is 160. The purpose of think space is so that we can quickly identify our multiples and our factors. So we have 141 divided by 8. The biggest multiple that we have that is less than 141 is 80. So we're going to multiply 8 times 10 to get 80. We're going to subtract and get 1 minus 0 is 1. We're going to have to borrow because we can't subtract 8 from 4. So we cross out our 1, make it a 0. Cross out our 4, make it a 14. 14 minus 8 is 6. So we're left with 61. Well, we can also use 5 times 8, which is 40. When we subtract, we get 21. The next highest multiple that we can use is 8 times 2, which is 16. When we subtract, we get 5. Now, there's not any other multiple that we could use that we could multiply by 8 to subtract from 5, and so we're now finished. We have 5 plus 0 plus 2 is 7, and then 1 plus nothing is 1. And so we're left with 17, remainder 5. Now, you can always prove that the problem is correct by multiplying 17 times 8, which is 56. Drop your 6, carry your 5. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 5 is 13. We have 136. Well, we have a remainder of 5, so we're going to add 5. And we should get 141. So your answer is 17, remainder 5. Next example, we have 733 divided by 5. I'm going to extend my line to make this a 7. In our think space, I'm going to use our divisor, which is 5, and write our multiplication facts out. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 100 is 500. 5 times 20 is 100. So we have 733. So we could easily use 5 times 100 to get 500. Then we subtract, and we get 233. We could use 5 times 20, which is 100. And we're left with 133. We could use another 20, which 5 times 20 is 100. When we subtract, we get 33. The next biggest multiple that we have is 5 times 2, which is 10. We subtract and get 23. We could use another 5 times 2, which is 10, to get 13. And we could also use another 5 times 2, which is 10, and we're left over with 3. Now, 3 is smaller than 5, and we don't have any other multiple that we could use, so we're going to add all of these numbers up. Notice how my numbers are lined up by place value. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. 2 plus 2 is 4. and we have 1 plus nothing, which is 1. So we're left with 146, remainder 3. So if I scroll back up, 146, remainder 3, and multiply 146 times 5 to check. 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. We have 730, the remainder 3. We're going to add 2, and we should get 733, which is our dividend. Okay. Last example. It's a word problem. The word problem says a librarian had to pack 590 books into boxes. If each box can hold 3 books, how many boxes did she need? So we have to figure out our total. A librarian had to pack 590 books. So 590 is the total number that we have. If each box can hold 3 books, how many boxes did she need? So our divisor is going to be 3. In our think space, we're going to write our multiplication fact. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 100 is 300. 3 times 20 is 60. Okay. We have 3 times, I recognize that 3 times 100 is 300. When we subtract, we get 290. But let's say that I know that I recognize that 3 times 5 is 15, and so 3 times 50 is 150. I could use 50 and subtract 150. And I'm left with 140. I can't use 150 again, but I can use 60, which 3 times 20 is 60. When I subtract, I get 80. I could use another 20, which is 60, and get 20. I could use 3 times 5, which is 15. When I subtract, I get 5. And my divisor is 3, so I could use 1 group of 3, which is 3. And I'm left over with 2. So my remainder is going to be 2. Now let's see what my whole number quotient is going to be. 5 plus 1 is 6. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 2 is 9. And then 1 plus 0 is 1. So we're left with 196, remainder 2. Let's check our work by multiplying our quotient times our divisor. And I get 588, with my remainder being 2. I add my remainder, and I get 590. Okay? Now you guys have come to a Google Form self-check. The link that is on Classroom is a Google form. You have 5 problems that you need to complete by showing your work in your notebook on the left-hand side. Please work out all of the problems, select your answers, and then click on Submit. Thank you.